What's going on, housemates? I hope you're doing well wherever you're watching this video from around the world. As always, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, all those good things. As you can tell, if you watched my last video, I am in a much calmer, composed state of mind after the madness of what went down in the Wolves game on Saturday, with Michael Oliver doing his absolute best to make the game all about him as he sent Myles Lewis-Skelly off for what was clearly simply a tactical foul and a yellow card standard procedure. But he made it anything but that. And I'm so happy to say that shortly before I started recording this video, the FA announced that his red card has indeed been rescinded, and so Myles Lewis-Skelly will now be available for the next 3 Premier League games. Huge relief, really, because obviously for Arsenal, it's just important because he's such a good player and he's our best left back, which is mad to say for an 18-year-old who only really started playing a few months ago for us. And also for English football, right? For the FA to, basically stand up to their supposed best referee and, push back against the PGMOL that originally upheld the decision. It shows that the FA still has some inkling of integrity left, and that they realize, like most football watching people around the world, that red card was one of the most absurd decisions of all time, really, in the league. So really happy for Myles Lewis-Skelly because he'll have been gutted to have been sent off for such a silly moment that wasn't his fault. And yeah, just for Arsenal, it helps us both for, obviously the next 3 Premier League games, but also for tomorrow's Champions League game, which is what I'm going to be spending most of this video talking about. But before I go into it, we have 3 days left in the transfer window. Still nothing has happened. I can't say I'm shocked. I'm just deeply disappointed, and it's really just a broken record at this point, right? I'm just really repeating what I've been saying for the last 2-3 weeks now. So it makes you really wonder what Arsenal's up to and what their plan is, what their vision is. To me, it sends a very clear message, obviously, that we see next season as the season, but we've been saying that forever now. And as much as I do believe it, it still doesn't change how much it hurts, right? Obviously, any team that loses their best player in Bukayo, like us in Bukayo Saka for what will be up to 4 or 5 months, that's always going to hurt you deeply, and it's going to make any chances of winning silverware significantly harder. And then, you think about injuries to key players like Martin Odegaard and Ben White and, just all the red cards, just so much unlucky stuff happening. But the fatigue element, at least, is also in part down to our lack of squad depth, which was sort of a clear choice for Mikel Arteta and the Kroenkes. So everyone's accountable. But anyways, I'm just kind of repeating what I've said in the past, so I don't like to do that too much. So moving on to tomorrow's game, again, not going to act like I have a bunch of tactical insights about the game. I have not really watched Girona. And all I know is that this is not the absolute most crucial game for us, of course. It's the last game in the league phase of the Champions League. We are already, all but entirely guaranteed to go through to the last 8. A lot of freakish things would have to happen for that, not to be the case. So we're going to be fine. But still, we'd like to finish on a high, right? It would be nice to finish as high up as possible. And you never know what you're going to get on an away night in Europe. So we want to play a pretty strong side, but at the same time, with Manchester City coming up on Sunday, and this being far from an absolutely crucial must-win game, we need to rotate. Now, as I say that, I'm still starting David Raya, right? I know some people are going to be calling for us to start Neto, to give him his debut, but look, he's a lone player, and he already only has 4 months left at the club. We owe him absolutely nothing. And, the drop-off from David Raya, one of the best goalkeepers in the world, to Neto is significant. And in what I expect to be a pretty heavily rotated back four, I think we need, the presence of someone as stable as David Raya in goal. And right back, it deeply pains me to say that I would start Thomas Partey. only because Takehiro Tomiyasu and Ben White both missed training before we flew to Spain today. So looks like neither of them are yet available. And Jurrien Timber has just played so many minutes, so we need to rest him as well. So Thomas Partey at right back and Jakub Kivior at center back. William Saliba also didn't train before we flew to Spain. Now, I think that that's just a case of resting him before we play City on Sunday, because obviously he'll be massive against City. You know, I could be wrong, but I don't think Arteta would have been silly enough to risk, you know, re-injuring Saliba, getting re-injured just to play him against Wolves. I think that would have been pretty backwards thinking. So yeah, I'm going to go with Kivior at center back, and I'm going to start Gabriel alongside him, because I just think that no matter how, like, even if it's not a crucial game, we still shouldn't be benching both of our starting center backs in an away game in Europe. So Gabriel alongside Kivior. And now at left back, because Myles Lewis-Skelly's red card has been rescinded, it means we have him available for Sunday. So I would start Kieran Tierney. He hasn't started many games this season, obviously. He'll have a lot more energy in his tank than our other options. And with Calafiori, clearly he's a really talented player. I love Calafiori. And so there's no need to really risk him getting re-injured, given how prone he is to injuries in a game like this. There's no need to rush him back. So yeah, I would start Tierney, and then we can bring on, Calafiori at some point during the game. But I just think it's very unrealistic to expect us to start Calafiori and Kivior at center back, for example. So that's the back four I've gone with. In midfield, Jorginho, this is, ideal game for him to come back into and start. Ethan Nwaneri only played one half of football because he was replaced following the red card against Wolves. And then, and Martin Odegaard was ill at the weekend, so I think Ethan Nwaneri should start again. And then Mikel Merino had a knock, which kept him out of the game against Wolves. But I really hope he's back fit, because Declan Rice has been working so tirelessly. So I would start Mikel Merino, assuming that he's back fit and available after that knock. And then in the front three, I'm going with Leandro Trossard on the left wing, Raheem Sterling at right wing, and Gabriel Martinelli in the middle. Kai Havertz was so exhausted after the Wolves game, and he is in the top five. He's in the top five players for most ground covered in the Premier League. And he's the only player in the top five that wasn't a midfielder. So it's no secret that he just runs his ass off. He runs so tirelessly for us. And again, because this isn't a winner, a must-win game, he needs to rest. And Gabriel Martinelli has shown in the past that he's so capable of scoring goals through the middle. Plus, with our front three anyways, like Sterling and Trossard have both played in a false nine role in the past. And our front three rotates, there's a lot of fluidity regardless, right? We see Kai Havertz drifting out onto the wing anyways. So it's not like Martinelli would be stuck in the middle, we'd be rotating them around throughout the game. But I just love to see Martinelli get a chance through the middle, no matter how unrealistic it might be. So that's the 11 I've gone with. Raya, Partey, Kivior, Gabriel, Tierney, Jorginho, Nwaneri, Merino, Trossard, Martinelli, and Raheem Sterling. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what your starting 11 might be, or if you disagree with me. But I think that team is more than capable of getting us a win to secure a really strong finish in the league phase of the Champions League. So thank you as always for watching, and I will talk to you after the game tomorrow. Come on, you Gunners. Peace, everybody.